Pokemon X and Y have got to be the most disappointing games in the Pokemon franchise for me. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate the game at all. It's still Pokemon. I was just really disappointed in what we got here. Maybe it was simply unrealistic expectations. After all, its predecessor, Pokemon Black and White, was just that great. We had a completely new and original Pokedex with many unique designs, some great mechanics, a memorable region, and even a great story with an evil team that has motivations rather than just being evil. And yeah, it wasn't perfect, it had flaws, but the pros vastly outweigh the cons in my opinion. Game Freak has truly made something special with it, as well as all the other Pokemon games that came before it. But ever since they've gone 3D, they just feel a lot more soulless, like they're just trying to pander to the older fans. And I still like the games, but you can really see the quality decline. And despite this, I'm pretty sure that I'm expecting at least one person to call me a Gen 1er despite the fact that I praised Gen 5. So without further ado, let's get on with this review. You start off the game being greeted by Professor Sycamore as per tradition, and you get introduced to the world of Pokemon, being asked if you're a boy or a girl, your name, and your look? There's gonna be character customization? That's awesome! Let's hope it gives you plenty of diverse choices for costumes and looks, and not just say a few different clothes options and a different hair color. I mean, that would be a bummer. So the game starts with you being hit by a fletchling and oh my god, that must hurt. Why aren't you screaming at the top of your lungs? You wake up, change out of your pajamas, and go meet your mom who tells you to go outside and make some friends. You then meet Girl 1 and Girl 2 who tell you to meet at Aquacord Town. So you enter Route 1, which is literally just a pathway with nothing interesting. I'm sorry, but this is literally the most useless route I have ever seen. Why don't you just make the two towns the same thing? That would make much more sense. When you get into town, you are greeted by Girl 1 and 2, as well as being introduced to Guy 1 and 2. Guy 1 likes to dance, and Guy 2 is a nerd, but relevant and necessary characters. Remember when there were rivals that were rivals, just that, and not just friends that constantly talk about how talented you are or how you're much better than them or how generally awesome you are? I miss that. After that, you're asked what your nickname should be, either M-Meister, Big M, or Little M. That is another very necessary feature in the game. So I picked the obvious choice, none. Then you're given a choice between three very admittedly well-designed starters. I picked Furky since his design looked the best, and I named him Kermit.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna turn around and desert you.
After that, you're given a Pokedex and a letter from the professor to give your mom. So after that, you are challenged by Girl 2 in a Pokemon battle, who you easily destroy since she has a type disadvantage. I personally was unlucky enough to get burned, but that didn't really matter since, then again, type advantage. After you tell your mom that you're going to go on the journey, she says, okay. But before you walk out to Route 2, you are interrupted by a hiker for no reason at all. You see, he was supposed to be there to block you before you gave the letter, but even if you gave it to her, he still interrupts you to say, oh, okay, you're fine, which is completely unnecessary. Okay, so you get to go out and find new Pokemon that you haven't seen before. And what do I find as my first Pokemon in this brand new region? Why, a Pidgey. Yes, a goddamn Pidgey. Now this in itself isn't a big deal on its own, but as you will soon see in this game, especially the next route, it really represents X and Y. You go in expecting some originality, but the first thing you see is something that Generation 1 has already done before, but with better graphics. Then you get taught how to catch a Pokemon for the billionth time, so yeah, also you get Pokeballs. Now it's time to find a brand new. God damn it. Jokes aside, I did catch a fledgling on my third try and gave it a generic nickname because I didn't really know what to name him. But it really says something when it took 3 wild encounters to find an actually new and original Pokemon. In fact, X and Y's Pokedex has a grand total of 69 Pokemon. 69? What? And even worse, there are about around 450 Pokemon in the Kalos Dex, meaning that less than a third, less than even a fifth of the Pokemon are new. Now I get that the game was most likely rushed considering that the 3D models were new to the team, but they still made 450 models. They could have made some original ones. We don't need to see old Pokemon again. So after a quick battle with a youngster, you enter Santaloon Forest. You know what? It's literally just Viridian Forest. But unlike Viridian Forest, which commits the sin of being challenging, Viridian 2.0 has Girl 2 by your side who will heal you whenever you want her to. So now you don't even have to worry about status conditions. This is, in essence, the second major problem with the game. It's way too easy and holds your hand most of the time. And screw the people who say, well, why don't you turn the experience share off? First of all, it shouldn't be that broken in the first place, and I shouldn't even have to handicap myself for it to be a challenge. Secondly, no, it's still baby easy even without the broken item. But you know what, I'm getting ahead of myself, so I'll get to that item later. Oh yeah, and Pikachu doesn't make its usual sound anymore, it now makes the sound for the anime. I'm not even that mad about it, I'm just pointing it out there. You then meet up with Girl 1, Girl 2, Guy 1, and Guy 2 and walk out of Viridian 2.0 together. Girl 2 asks what we're going to do, and the gang all reveals their one and only traits. Guy 2 is smart and wants to fill out the Pokedex. Guy 1 likes moves and dances. Girl 1 is supposedly the most confident, besides you of course, and wants to be the champion. And Girl 2 is a girl. That's all you need to know about them since that's their entire personalities. After going through another route that exists, you then enter Santaloon City. You'll likely go in a Pokemon Center where you'll be taught how to use it because you clearly don't know how a Pokemon Center works. Also, before you enter a gym, you meet the Rollerblader who gives you skates after a battle, which is essentially analog mode, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Santaloon City's gym is a bug gym where you walk through a web to fight Viola, who's actually a really good first gym leader. I personally really like the infestation gimmick her Vivillon has, slowly chipping away at your health while you're unable to switch out. I mean, the gym battle is pretty easy, but it's the first gym. What, I like things about this game too. What, did you expect this to be some sort of cynical, scathing review where I talk about it being the worst game ever? No, I believe it's disappointing, but it's still Pokemon. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of this game, which is why I call it a critique of Pokemon X and Y, and not a rant. Most of my criticisms in this review are mostly hyperbolic for entertainment, but I do think that this game is very underwhelming and is, in my opinion, my least favorite Pokemon game, but don't take this as an attack on the fans of the game, I'm just expressing my opinion. Anyways, due to the fact that I can't make a video over 15 minutes, stupid YouTube, I'm going to make this a multiple part review. The full review will probably be very long, so if you're watching this series a month or so, be ready to grab some popcorn. I'll most likely do 1 part per gym battle and 1 for the Pokemon League and Team Flare finale, so that'll be about around 3 hours, so you better get some lunch too. Anyways, my name is Maximus Media, and I hope you had a terrible day.